Okay, so joining us today is celebrity chef Kevin Gillespie, who will talk about his new project and how to incorporate Vidalia onions into dishes that you can make at home. So thank you so much for joining us, Chef.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm really excited to chat with you. I want to talk about this new project that you're developing on the Beltline. I know you've seen success at your other restaurants, so could you briefly tell me about what you're bringing to Atlanta?
Yeah, absolutely. We're really excited about the Beltline in Atlanta. It adds walkability to our city, which is something Atlanta desperately needed. But unfortunately, a lot of the stuff that's happening on the Beltline has been sort of a repurpose. And I shouldn't say unfortunately, it's pretty cool use, but we get the luxury of having a brand new building on the Beltline, which means that we get to do cool patio spaces, we get to have a rooftop and games, and so we're building something that we're really excited about. We kind of consider it a sister restaurant to our others. It's a lot more focused on cocktails and beers, but there'll also still be some really great food there as well.
Okay, I'm excited to check it out. I'm excited to see what you're going to bring. It really does sound amazing. It sounds like people are going to really be able to enjoy themselves.
I hope so.
I'm aware that you're also cooking with us today. So tell me about the recipe that you're preparing.
Yeah, so today is the first day of the release of Vidalia Onions for 2018, and this is something that all Georgians get really excited about because it's a very important food item for us here. We take our pride in our Vidalia Onions, and so I'm doing today a slow-roasted Vidalia onion soup, which is a great way to emphasize that natural sweetness of the onion, and it's a recipe that folks can make at home with a lot of success. So it starts actually with the onions themselves in the skin. And what we'll do is we'll wrap them in foil. So what we're doing here is we're really preserving all of that natural juice inside the onion because that's going to make up kind of the broth or the liquid for our soup. So we'll wrap them tight in foil so that we capture all of that steam, don't let any of the juices out. We'll roast them at about 350 degrees in the oven until they're completely tender. And so that could take over an hour. It's slower is better in this scenario because it builds up that sugar content in the onions. But once they come out, we can pull that bottom root portion off, and then we can just squeeze them out of the jacket or out of the skin directly into the carafe of the blender because they're going to be super soft. And that's what we want. We got to make sure they're tender enough before they go in the blender so that they puree up sort of nice and smooth. So it doesn't require a lot to make this soup phenomenal because the onions have such a wonderful flavor on their own, but we are going to add some mascarpone cheese and a clove of garlic, and then we'll add a little bit of kosher salt as well. And then some fresh lemon juice to this, which will kind of balance a little bit of that natural sweetness that the onions bring to the soup. And so for me, it's about capturing that flavor that is quintessentially the Vidalia onion, and that is really that natural sweetness, that low sulfur content, meaning a less spicy onion, and just kind of emphasizing that what it, to me, is that first taste of spring, and that's what I think of every time we make this soup every year when we do it. And so it's as simple as blending it all up. We're using sort of a high-speed blender so we get it nice and smooth, but anything you have at home will work fine. And then we adjust the consistency of the soup with just a splash of chicken broth or some vegetable stock if you want to keep it vegetarian. It's just enough really to get it to have that nice spoonability that you expect of a soup, but not so much that it dilutes the flavor of the onion itself. So once it's pureed up, we'll just take it over to our pot here just to keep it warm. And then we'll serve the soup warm, just ladle it into our bowls. And the garnish is very, very simple. We'll just garnish it with a little bit of freshly sliced chive and then a small crack of black pepper. And that's all that we need to kind of bring out that natural flavor profile of the Vidalia onion.
Wow, sounds perfect. I love a good farm-to-table menu, so, this is right up my alley. Are Vidalia onions something that you could normally find in store? Would you get it fresh? Are they, normally in season?
Well, you know what? That's a great question. So we see them in stores around the country starting today, but they are still a seasonally available crop. So today through the end of August, perhaps the beginning of September, is the real season for Vidalia onions. So they're not available all the time, but while they are available, they're certainly very prevalent in stores. And so I would tell people, get out there and try them right now because it's the perfect time of the year. They're great for your backyard barbecues as the spring is coming on and weather's warming up, but they're great in salads as well, in soups. They make a phenomenal onion ring. I mean, anything that you can do with an onion, my opinion is that you can do it better with a Vidalia onion.
It makes a lot of sense. I'm really looking forward to see how you use it. Could you tell me where we could find more information about it?
Absolutely. If you guys want to see more about the stories of the growers, hear a little bit more about the onions themselves, the artisan work that goes into this. I mean, these are still hand planted, hand harvested. There's a lot of tradition to this. You can go to vidaliaonion.org. You can also go to Georgia Grown. That's a website that represents sort of all of the work that we do with the agriculture here in the state of Georgia. So not just onions, but all the other wonderful crops that we have. And then if you want to follow along on social media, the hashtag #OnlyVidalia is what we're using to kind of show stories of folks in the field, take a look at the beautiful crops behind me, and then also some cool dishes that we're doing with them.
And Chef, when can we look forward to the restaurant opening?
So the new restaurant Cold Beer will be open in what we call the early part of 2019. So hopefully, if it's up to me, it'll be open by this time next year. So we're very excited about it.
Cool. I'm excited for you. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You as well.